Welcome back to another Middle Earth strategy battle game video, except this time without any models. Yay! We're doing another little chit chat because we've got a tournament coming up at the weekend. We're going to the London Grand Tournament, which we're probably going to refer to as the LGT for the rest of it because it's just easier, isn't it? So first of all, everyone say hi. Who's here? Curtis, you go first.
Hi, Curtis. Guest from London, so local tournament for me. Looking forward to getting stuck in.
Daniel.
Hello. Yes, I'm Daniel. I will be going to the LGT. I'm not local. Curtis, thankfully, is going to let me stay at his, which is wonderful. Means I don't have to get the train home or anything to have. Very much looking forward to it. It will be my first GBHL event, so yeah.
Nice. Lee, who are you?
Hello. I'm not going to the GT. Yeah, went to too many recently, so I'm too bored to stretch it. So I'm just here to chat rubbish about their lists. That is my job.
Ross, what's your name?
My name's Ross, funnily enough. And yeah, same as Lee, not going, but just going to give my very, very poor opinion on what I think of a game that I don't really know much about.
To be fair though, Ross, I think you played quite both me and you definitely played me with my list. I don't know about Daniel, but so Curtis is going to have a mystery to him, so we'll see what happens. Before we jump into our army lists and things, sorry, I'm Tom. Hi, I am going to London GT. Before we jump into that, London Grand Tournament, it's a 2-day event held in London, surprisingly. Northeast London, I think it is, isn't it?
Yes, Lee Valley, near
Lee Valley Sports Centre, yeah. So
yeah,
it's a whole weekend. Like the London Grand Tournament is a whole event that's got like 40k, Sigma, Song of Ice and Fire, like Marvel Crisis Protocol goes thing, Star Wars Legion, like there's loads of stuff. And this is just a Middle-earth contingent. So it's good to go and see like all these other games and stuff, see what's going on at the event, maybe have a wander around between games. There'll be 6 games over 2 days. The first 2 are going to be at 400 points. The second 2 are at 600, and the last 2 are at 800 points. So we've all got kind of 3 lists to talk about as well, just to be irritating. And we had the option of bringing either a good and an evil, or a good or an evil, or both.
Yeah.
To this. So some mad people might have brought 2 lists, but escalating, so they've got 6 different army lists, and that's a lot to type out.
It's also a lot of models to take with you.
So many models to bring.
Yeah.
Especially if I brought the 800 I was considering for good, which would have also been 60, 80 models.
It's mad. You think about what the TO's got to do. He's got to check through all those lists, like 60 players, 3 lists each, potentially 6 lists each. It's an
honestly
amount of work.
Why would he sign himself up for that?
Yeah.
I mean, there's quite a few people going as well.
There's a fair few people going as well, yeah. And then it's a GBHL 80 pointer, so it's not the big 100-point events. So you're less likely to see like full cheesy lists. I hope there's a little bit of like fun, fluffy stuff going around as well. Because like the super competitive lads don't necessarily always come out for the 80 pointers. But having mentioned cheesy lists and stuff, Daniel, what are you bringing?
I'm bringing
What's your 400-point list?
It's really cheesy. My 400 points is Durin, a dwarf warrior with a banner and shield, and 15 Hearthguard upgrades to the Khazad Guard. So pretty beefy 400 points, I think.
Yeah, it's a slow moving wrecking ball, isn't it? That I had a similar list for the Into the West tournament, and when it gets into combat, it just slaughters. It's great fun.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't.
600 is exactly the same warband for Durin, and then I'm adding a warband with Mardin, 3 Vault teams, and 3 iron guard, and I think a couple of bows as well. I'll need to check actual numbers, but that sounds about right to me.
I think you have 2 bows in yours.
2 bows, yeah.
2 bows, yeah. And Martin's the one with the foe spear, right?
Yes, so he gets +1 to wound monsters, just as standard. He then also gets +1 to wound monsters if he's supporting an iron shield. So we'll see if we find any trolls or anything, or cave drakes. Then yeah, they'll be making a beeline.
I will be hiding.
Yeah. And then my 800 point list is I'm adding some more Hearthguard to Durin's Warband, so he goes up to 17. I'm now also adding a Dwarf King with another banner, 5 warriors with shield, and another 2 warriors with bow. So I'm at 40+ models at 800 points, which isn't bad for dwarves, I think.
It's really good for dwarves.
Yeah, I think once you've spent for Durin, your heroes that you add on are quite cheap, so you can make sure you buff those numbers up.
Yeah, I mean, the Dwarf King's only 75 points. I mean, for what you get, it's not
he's such value, isn't he?
Yeah. Is he fight 6 as well? Fight 6, defense 8 or something silly?
I think fight 5.
Oh, fight 5.
No, the King's fight 6.
No, the King is fight 6, and he's got Heroic Strike.
No, I think he's got Resolve and March, the King.
Yeah.
Does he not have Strike?
No. Resolve and March, yeah.
Oh, no, but he's fight 6. Yeah.
Strength 4, defense 8, 2 attacks, 2 wounds, 2 might, 2 will, 1 fight.
He's baller.
It's a great 75 points, I think. So yeah, I'm very excited. I'm only bringing the 1 list. But we'll see. Yeah.
Which level are you most confident at? 4, 6, or 8?
I think 400 will be sort of autopilot mode. There's not a whole lot of thinking involved. It's just going to be walk up the board and smash things.
Well, you say that, but as dwarfs, it's never that simple.
Yeah, I suppose it depends what scenario I get. If I get something nice, if I get maybe one of the kill count scenarios, then happy day. Yeah, I'll be killing 2-3 models for every one I lose, even if they're, Warriors of Minas Tirith or maybe not Urukai, but yeah.
Is it random choice for these scenarios to the?
Yeah, so he's going to roll up scenarios, only 1 from each pool throughout the day, but in random order. So we don't know what's going to happen. So we could end up with like Fog of War for 400 points, and then just to their death at 800.
I thought they may have pre-selected scenarios considering the points.
I'd have been tempted to pick the pools at the very least and gone, right, well, you're going to do a kiddie one at 400 and something else at 400, and then like a mystery bonus one like from pool 6 at 800 or something. But I think I quite like it. It's a bit interesting.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to finding out what they are, to be honest. Yeah, I feel 400 points will be okay if the scenario supports me. 800 points is what I'm really looking forward to, though. I think that's where dwarves really shine. I've not gone with the King's Champion, and I've not taken any dwarf ballistas. I'm going a very different route. A lot of people say they're auto includes, but I think it'll be okay. I'm really looking forward to 800 points. So
you got to bin those ballistas off. Far too unreliable. It's not quite Roman Hill's level of powerful. I don't think. I think I had a look at your list. All the lists got released, didn't they? And 800 points. It looks really tidy.
Yeah, that's what I hope so.
Yeah, and if anyone wants, we have played that 800 point list has been on the channel. So you can. I'll put a little thing in one of these bits somewhere. I'll do some computer wizardry and it'll appear. There'll be a little link to that game, so you can have a look at it in action. It's a long one. Strap yourself in.
Yeah, God, it's nearly 2 hours long, isn't it?
Yeah, because I missed that out at the start, but all the games are going to be 2 hours long. So even the 400 point ones are 2 hours long.
Yeah, see, that's weird.
Yeah,
I think
it is. Yeah,
he's slightly changed it. He slightly changed it. So the 800 ones, I think they're 2.5 or 215.
Oh, what?
I was really excited for that. A little bit of time onto the 800 pointers.
Oh, that's upset me.
Like 2 hours for a 400 point game is
long breaks, really, isn't it? They're going to be finished.
And that actually falls into the dwarf hands a little bit, I think. because you're going to be a lot harder to kill and to break. So the games that do need somebody to break, you can cling on for a long old time. And if you're on an objective, I don't know. I feel like it plays into dwarves.
I feel like that might be to my detriment though, because I don't have many shields in the list.
Yeah, you're defense 7. You don't need shields.
Yeah, but if I win the fights, I'm killing things. And
then you're winning.
I might not want them to break.
Yeah. Don't forget, they can. Oh no, you can't just two-hand and not have the burly thing, can you? So you can't make it hard for yourself to win. Yeah, that's a bit poo.
Yeah.
That's a shame.
I can choose not to two-hand.
Yeah, you can go one-handed. They've got daggers or something, haven't they? Or small axes.
And then so one hand and then feint. So or stab. Oh, well, feint to load fight. So you got it.
I think the one of the drawbacks, and I noticed this when I played a similar list, is that having that banner is so important because you've only got 1 dice per model. You've got no spear supports. You're usually outnumbered model-wise. That banner is really crucial to get the best out of those half guard.
It happened with me and you, right? Curtis, we played Into the West. I managed to snipe out your banner. And it meant that your battle line just couldn't stand up to the spear support. You really need that banner. You
matched me at fight 4, so I wasn't winning fights. You had the spear support. You actually played that really well. You sort of shot the dwarves off the table, and you pulled me around. I think that's one of the dangers with the dwarves at low points, because they're quite slow. Is that if you've got something that can stand off you and move quicker than you, you can get pulled around and you can get tempted to commit one way, and then they just bail out. And
please don't tell Lee he did something well. We don't do that on this channel.
No, for Daniel, it's a really good point that if you're getting shot at by like multiple sides and they're trying to bait you to come out off of your objectives, don't do it. Just sit there and die. As soon as you start moving around, that's it. Game over. You get where you want to get to and just sit there. If they're shooting you with 40 bow shots a turn, go for it.
Yeah. I took the bait, didn't I?
You did take. Yes, you did.
Multiple times I took the bait every time it came towards me. I think you either sit there or you just march hell for leather at the leader.
Yeah.
Unless you're playing Ross, because he will just kill all your models with bow shots.
To be fair, I was going to say, obviously, because you were at the tourney we did. Did you take anything from that to influence your list, or?
Yes, Kingdom of Moria isn't as good as it looks. Balin's really, really expensive, and you don't get enough for him. So I've avoided all of that for this. I'm not going anywhere near that.
So you're saying Kingdom of Moria is awful, yeah?
Pretty much.
Yeah, and only a fool would take Kingdom of Moria.
Pretty much.
Curtis, what have you brought, mate?
I've not brought Kingdom of Moria.
Oh, I thought it said Kingdom of Moria on your army list. That's why I was like, oh, haha.
No, but there is a certain competitive player on another YouTube channel who has brought a Kingdom of Moria list.
Yeah.
I did. Yeah, I saw that one as well.
Spicy.
I don't know. I'm not convinced. I don't think it's a good army list.
I don't know.
I get smashed.
I'll tell him you said that.
I get smashed by my friend who always takes Balin and a King combo, and he somehow manages to work Balin. And I was taking Gothmog, he takes Balin, and I'm Mordor, and I'm not getting my army bonus because Gothmog's so expensive. I'm not getting enough numbers that Balin's dwarves just I think they had one more, but one lot of combat, they outnumbered me, and I got absolutely minced by Balin.
To be fair, we do know someone else who quite likes the Balin and Gimli combo, don't we?
Yeah.
He who shall not be named.
Scott from SW Miniatures. Scott. Yeah, nice lad.
Yeah. Like and subscribe to Scott as well.
Yeah. Curtis, what did you bring? Sorry, mate.
So the list that I'm bringing to this is a Mordor list. So I start with at 400 points. I start with Kamul on Fell Beast. He's got in his warbands 5 Black Numenoreans. They're supported by 4 Morannons with Spear. And then he's got 3 Morgul Knights. And then in my second warband, I've got an Orc Captain on Warg with shields, a Warg Rider with throwing spear and shield, and then just a smattering of orc trackers just to make up the points. At 600, it's pretty much that again. I add a few more trackers and another Warg Rider to the Orc Captain's Warband, and then I throw in another Ring Wraith mounted, and he's got with him a couple of Orc Warriors with shields, a couple of Morannons with spear, and the banner. It's potentially the other way around. And then at 800, it's that exactly that, plus a Troll Chieftain with some more regular Orcs and some more Morannons. So I think at 800, I hit the 42 model mark. So I think as far as Mordor armies go, quite low with the two big hitters. But no, I'm looking forward to playing with the monsters.
But you got a Fell Beast and a Troll Chieftain.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm hoping that can help me balance those numbers out. I had my first practice game and only practice game yesterday at 800 points, and I won it because we played the full game. But if we'd called it at time as if we would have done in a tournament, I lost it. It took too slow to get the Troll Chieftain into combat. And when you've got 140 points sat in a single model and he's not mincing people from as soon as the lines clash, you're playing with a handicap, and that's what let me down.
Well, it sounds like a pretty solid list at all points, 4, 6, and 800. That sounds pretty scary, to be honest. I don't think I'd worry about having low numbers there. I think you've got a lot of killing power in that list.
Yeah, you kind of live and die by Carmel at 400 points, don't you? He's quite that's a lot of your army.
Yeah,
and 100 points. 170.
He's 170 with the Fell Beast.
Wow. 400 points. Yeah.
Yeah,
big chunk of change.
I'm really relying on that terror wall with the Morannons plus terror caused by him, just to sort of hopefully allow me to dictate my combats a little bit more, and make sure people only fighting chat.
Really hope I don't play you at 400 points.
But this is the thing, right? We learned from Into the West and Leia that what does well at low points, funnily enough, isn't numbers. It's a big dude. It's a big hero. And if he performs, you're going to do well.
Yeah,
not both.
Why not both? Yeah, no, definitely. I learned from Into the West, at low points, you either want shooting or you want speed. And so this time I've gone with that. I've not got shooting, but I've gone with speed with the Fell Beast, and hopefully that'll allow me to, I don't know, get stuck in a bit quicker.
Yeah.
What drew you to Kamal?
I actually got absolutely smashed by him when I went to Lords of the West Midlands up in Birmingham. A great guy, I forget his name, but he had the Witch King on horse and Kamal on Fell Beast, and just I had a Mordor army myself with Gothmog, and just the Harbinger of Evil plus 2 spellcasters, and then Kamal just picking off all the flanks, getting his will back, throwing transfixes, which are a 4+. I just got absolutely trounced by him, and I love the way sort of the synergies work with the Harbinger, with the terror causing. The Morannons are quite high courage themselves, so they stick around. Sorry, the Numenorians quite high courage themselves, so they can stick around if they're combated by that. But yeah, that's what drew me to Kamal, just that ability to get your will back. So
and he can pump himself up to fight 6, right?
Yeah,
so
the fight 6.
So for one wheels, we got to fight 6, and then he has strike as well, doesn't he?
He does have strike, yeah, but he's only got 2 mites. That does let him down slightly, and you're always tempted to do heroic combats. But then if you've spent one on a heroic combat and you've only got 1 left for strike, he's quite vulnerable to heroes coming in.
The thing is, though, even at fight 6 against like a lot of smaller heroes, like you're fine.
Yeah,
you don't need to strike. So.
They're his targets, aren't they? Those smaller heroes.
He wants to go kill all the small stuff.
He went
just
up
ignore those big
and Dane botched his roll, but I feel we both struck up. He master of battle to my strike. No one had any might left, and if Dane hadn't rolled a 3-2-1, I think Kamal would have been toast. Just because he struggles against those stronger heroes.
Yeah. I think what's interesting about Kamal as well, more the case with him being on the Fell Beast, is that it does sort of make that special rule of like pumping up the fights and attacks not as good if it was just mounted on a horse, because obviously he bumps up his fight, which is like obviously the good one. You get the bonus attack, which only stays at 3 anyway, because you can use the
the attack
beast.
doesn't really help him on the fell beast.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
you can bump up his strength as well, but then you're using the fell beast's strength for the 6. So
But it does mean if he does get knocked prone by anything, he's then on foot and can hold his own as well, which is quite nice because he can bump himself up to 2 attacks and kind of defend a little bit.
Yeah, his killing power is just that little bit higher as well, so it's sort of it makes it easier to get that will back. So I'm confident spending 1 will for the fight. I'm confident spending 1 will to get my fight up to 6, and then hopefully I can munch at least 2 guys a turn just to keep me at net 0. Maybe I can throw off a couple of drain courages while I'm at it as well.
Couple of cheeky hurls down the line just to knock everyone over.
Just
cause chaos. Yeah,
if you can pull them off and maximize your wounds that way as well, fantastic.
Did you say you had 5 Morgul Knights?
3 Morgul Knights.
3 Morgul. I was going to say 5 would be a real nice block, but 3 will do, I think.
Yeah. So the original list had 4, but they're 18 points each. So I was like, I'd rather drop one of those, get an extra Black Numenorian and an extra Morannon with spear, just to sort of help that front line. Use the cavalry as a flanking. They did nothing yesterday, so I'm really hoping they turn it around at the weekend.
Nice.
What are you taking, Tom?
So I'm back on the Goblin Town train. I've finished mucking around with other armies. They're all rubbish. There are no armies that are as good as Goblin Town. I've tried them all over the last couple of months. None of them are as good as Goblin Town, especially when you throw a spider in. So at 400 points, I have got the King, Golem, Grinner, and a Scribe, and 36 goblins just running around. In all my lists, half the goblins have swords and half of them have axes, just so I can either piercing strike up to strength 4 or stab and kill myself, depending on what I want to do. So yeah, that's 39 models at 400 points, plus the Goblin Scribe, just chucking more in. Which is why I was quite hoping for like 2-hour game. I've got loads of time. I'll have fun. Then when I got to 600s, I only gain 4 more Goblin Warriors, but Spider Queen and a Bat Swarm come in. So it takes me from being green allies to yellow allies. I chuck a captain in as well, so Goblin Captain, so I can split up the warbands. So I've now got the Goblin King, Grinner, Captain, Scribe with Golem in the Goblin King's warband, and then Spider Queen and a Bat Swarm. That's the list that I took to Battle of Borodor, which did okay there. So
it did all right.
Did all right, didn't it?
It got through.
Got through. Did the job. It won for anyone who didn't know. So that was all right. Beat Curtis on the way. Just
played me in that last game, didn't you? So confident. We were just chatting away. He knew he'd won. He'd sorted it.
It was destroyed the supplies. The Spider Queen did her thing.
Destroyed the supplies, didn't she?
She really did. Yeah. And those poor little orc trackers you left back to defend them.
Yeah, what was I thinking?
They had no chance. They were great actually, because it really helped her out because you could heroic combat off them.
Yeah.
So it really sped her up. It was quite nice. Thanks for leaving them back there. And then at 800s, what I've done is I've added more goblins. So I put another goblin captain, another bunch of goblins, and a goblin mercenary captain, a bunch of goblin mercenaries. So it takes me up to a grand total of 69 models.
Is there another Bat Swarm there as well?
There is another Bat Swarm, yeah, sorry, yeah. So there's 2 Bat Swarms, which is here, and it's on Saturday, which is in 2 days' time. So that needs painting, but standard. So yeah, 69 exactly. Whee, let's.
Do you know if it's the largest list there? Have you had a look through?
I know CJ from Guardians of Wiltshire is bringing Moria and Lake Town. There's his 2 armies. So he's got a lot. But I think he was steering away from Horde and bringing, he's got Bard and Gandalf in his Lake Town.
Yeah, that list looks ridiculously good.
Yeah, and
I
he's
was
there like,
looking at it earlier.
I think it's just for
looks
fun,
so
but
good.
is it, CJ? Yeah. So it should be good. I think I'm pretty close to the most, but then like I've also got a scribe in there as well. So the last couple of games he's done 20 plus models happily. So realistically, I'm hoping to be somewhere near 100 models on the table at one point. Which should be good. That's why I was a bit like, 2-hour games, 800 points. That'll be fun.
Yeah.
Just chuck stuff onto objectives, and the timer runs out. Like nothing else we can really do.
Are you confident for this one? Are you looking to place highly?
A little bit more than I have been for the last couple, because I'm back on the Goblin Town train. We've done a couple of tester like games, and they've done okay in that. The only one I lost was against Ross at 400 points, which was Lords of Battle against Rivendell and Lothlorien allied together.
Well, that'll be why.
No, just Rivendell. It was. Are you talking about the little game we did at the end?
Yeah, that real quick one.
Yeah. So it was the twins and 6 Rivendell Warriors with Shield, 6 with Spear and Shield, and then Gildor with a bunch of exiles with a bunch of throwing daggers.
Oh yeah, they confused me because they're wood elves. Yeah, but yeah, those throwing daggers just rinsed Trimmer Goblins because they hit on 3s and wound on 4s. So they did a massacre.
There's a couple of Gildors that I've seen in the list for the tournament. There's one guy in particular. Let me get up his name because the list is just amazing. Hold on, let me find it. I have to lay this out to you. It's ridiculous. His 400 points: Gildor Inglorian, Glorfindel, Tom Bombadil.
Right. Okay.
600 points.
Who's that?
Gildor, Glorfindel, Tom Bombadil. And 800 points: Aragorn, Frodo, Sam, Arwen, Gildor, Glorfindel, Tom Bombadil.
I don't know if I want to play it, or if I don't know what it would be like. Obviously, Tom Bombadil is just. I mean, he's a beast, isn't he? What do you do against Tom Bombadil?
You ignore him.
But yeah, you have to.
You make a little goblin creche for him to hide in, just surround him with goblins.
We don't all have 70 goblins, unfortunately.
I've only got 58 actual goblins.
Oh,
it's all right.
Just a few.
Because he can't make strikes and kill things, you just have to surround him or ignore him. There's no other way. Don't let him get close to your big heroes. And either surround him or ignore him. He's just a pain in the ass.
Lee, there's a button for that, mate. You can literally press a button and raise your hand. Yeah.
Oh, that's 2 seconds to me. All I was going to ask is, how many models did you say you had in 800, Tom?
69. Oi, oi.
And Daniel, you've got how many?
So I will have, I think 40 something. Let's have a look. Whoops.
Yeah, he's in the low 40s.
So that would be the only thing we played the other night, didn't we? And that would be the only thing I would be a bit cautious of, is the fact of you've got like 20 odd more models than him, but that's not a great deal when he's got 40 odd dwarfs.
Yeah, so it's 40 on the nose for 800. I've just checked.
It's just a case of hoping that the scribe does his job.
Yes, exactly.
And that the mercenaries are used to their full effect of where they're going to deep strike, and it hits
the general ball plan, or game plan, is that the mercenaries, the Spider Queen, and some bat swarms float around and win me the game.
Yeah.
Everything else just goes and dies.
Roadblock.
Which, to be fair, that's what they do. They
the
do
last few games. That's all I did with Goblin Town. That's what I did with Goblin Town against Curtis at the last tournament that I took him to, where I just performed a Goblin Town wall, sent the Spider Queen, I killed your wargs, and then went and got the objectives and won.
All I could do was get to 1 in the last turn, 1 supply, and I was lucky that I broke you.
Yeah.
That does just show how strong the Spider Queen is, right? Like,
she's insane, mate.
Goblin Town win you the game. It's Spider Queen.
The Broodlings, they were bursting supplies because they could they could go there, not be in a combat, do the supply on the same turn.
It's done. It's
You
done.
pop a Broodling out, chuck the Spider Queen into the models defending it. Brooding goes round. They haven't got control zone. Broodling pops the thing. You move on. Happy days.
What scenarios would you be nervous with that list? Where do the numbers and the
I mean,
Spider
Lords of
Queen-
Battle is the biggest.
Contest of champions.
Yeah.
Contest.
Contest. I've got a Goblin King.
plus with Gollum as his mate, so you can get the fight value.
So at 400 and 600, I back the Goblin King at contest. 800, I'm a little bit more nervous with him, but because all you do is you deploy the Goblin King, and you keep as many goblins as possible just out of the way, and then you try and get his friends in next to him. But you kind of and then you use the Goblin King to just smash stuff. I mean, at the end of the day, he's what, strength 6 with a 200, no, strength 5 with 200 pick and burly. So he can piercing strike up to strength 6 with a 200 pick. So most warriors in the game are going down on freeze.
Oh,
And
if it's less, yeah.
And he's got free attacks. So he just wanders around smashing stuff. Like, he's an absolute unit.
I think, and also a pain in the ass with the Goblin King as well is the resistance to magic as well. He's got
Yeah.
And that blubbery mass.
Oh, blubbery
That's
mass!
annoying,
You feel like you feel like it's a victory when you put a wound on him, and then bam, 3+.
He very rarely takes a wound, so he's pretty solid. There's a few guys that I know I get scared of by him. So like someone like a Glorfindel terrifies me. Because the Elven Blade's got straight blood mass. But
there's quite a few floating around from what I can see.
Anything Elven, right?
yeah, big Elven heroes,
woohoo.
basically.
Isn't that why
they
Gollum's
terrify
there
me.
though, right?
What's that?
Isn't that why Gollum's there?
Yeah.
Yeah, the thing is, with Contest of Champions, you can't just rely on Gollum being there because it's all situational, right? Like, a good opponent isn't going to let you do that. So it's just all situational. But you're right. In an ideal world, Gollum getting involved is going to do well.
And on contest, you can use a Spider Queen to kind of block off. Like, I would be using her might fairly early on to get her up next to him. And then using her broodlings, her bats to just kind of flap around, because that's why I've got 800. I've got Gollum and 2 bats. Because I know that like Lake Town will bring a Bilbo. I'm pretty sure Bilbo's higher up than Gollum on the tree.
Yes.
But that's why I've got the 2 bats, because then I can send a bat off to be with the Goblin King, be able to hit him. It's a little bit harder to use because obviously you've got that big base. You can't just move through models like Gollum can, but we can work it out.
What about if you get it in the lower points? Like if you get like it in a 400 contest and you haven't got as many.
I back the King at 400.
Yeah.
There aren't that many massive heroes that can deal with. Like he's a fairly big unit.
Unless again they just yeet a dude into King each turn, and then they munch through like 3-4 goblins a turn.
But because he's a monster, he's got barge and stuff as well, so you can start moving stuff out of the way.
Yeah.
He can throw a hurl off and just try and knock down like a fair few guys, get the strength 3 hits on lots of dudes. Like
he's too good, isn't he? He's too good.
He's really efficient.
I do think list writing for this tournament is quite interesting. I've not looked in detail through all the lists that have been published for the tournament, but my suspicion is at 400 points, that's where people are going to take their big hero, because you grow 200 and you can't drop anything. No one really feels like they have the space to add your Aragorns. You can't add a Balrog. You can't add anything huge at those 200 points. Otherwise, you're not getting anything else. So I got a suspicion the 400 list there's going to be a lot of 1 warbanders or 2 warbanders where you've got a big lad.
Hi, Lee.
Hello. Did you say you can't drop anything like from your original like 400?
You can't drop heroes.
Okay.
But you can drop troops.
I saw a Nine Hill one that dropped Goat Riders. So
really?
Like,
okay.
hang on a minute.
Yeah, it's surprising that not many people have just dropped stuff completely and have just added.
Yeah, so we were getting in our chat that you can like change war gear and stuff, and if it was a particularly themey ad, you could drop guys if it was over the 200 points. But the general rule was that you didn't drop troops. It was only if the ad was over 200 points or particularly themey.
Yeah, I think the mission pack says like you can You can if you need to, but don't basically. But I don't think any of us have. We've tried to be pretty. We're all just Phoebe players. You know?
Yeah,
I think
it's meant to be building
balancing out warbands as well.
Yeah. That was my concern at 400, was getting enough dudes and balancing the warbands.
Mm.
I was debating sacking off the scribe. Yeah, I know. But
he basically
guarantee game, isn't it?
Yeah, he completely changes the game just by the table. Because again, a lot of people have ended up doing something like an Azog at 400. But they haven't got any models then. And then you get you get like Storm the Camp, and you go, cool. Have some goblins.
The scribe makes those missions that you're probably not great at, like very winnable and very good at. Like you said, Storm the Camp. If you were just normal goblins without the scribe, that would probably be, not great.
I would probably just pack my own camp with bodies, so they couldn't possibly get it.
Yeah,
that's what I would do.
But then the scribe just gives you so many options.
Can the scribe bring them on anywhere on a board edge?
Any board edge, yeah.
See that? Yeah, that's so good.
Except on Recon.
Right. Okay. Fair. What's the
on Recon? Don't they have to roll for the reinforcements?
No,
on Recon they just come on my own.
On your own board edge.
Yeah.
What army bonus do you lose?
Hey.
When you ally? What army bonus do you lose when you ally?
So it's extra warband size.
Okay.
So they get +6 to the warband sizes for being green. So that's why at 400 the Goblin King's got 20 in his warband.
Wow.
Because he's a legend, and then he gets +6. So he can bring 24 goblins.
Hopefully you get a maelstrom and you can't get on, like I am.
Flashbacks of Boromir.
Yeah,
that's it. I've only got 3 warbands at 400. I know that's still more than a lot of people, but one of them is 22 models, because the King, Gollum, and 20 goblins. And the other one is a scribe with 4 goblins. So I don't want that on its own.
No,
but
see, I think that's where you'll have a benefit though, because like Curtis was saying, there are a lot of said your name wrong, didn't I? No, good. Most people are bringing one big killy hero with 1 warband. So I think in Maelstrom, even if you do only get the scribe on, you've got a pretty good chance of being the only model on the table anyway.
Well, and you bring him on first and then roll for the other guys as well, don't you?
Yeah.
Because both of my other 2 warbands have 3 might in them, because Grinner's got 3 and King's got 3. So
yeah, I'd roll for the scribe first, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It happened at Borodordo. First game turned up, and the scribe got maelstrommed into like one corner on the opposite side of the board. I was playing against Rohan. That was a bit sad. But the King and the Queen and all my other goblins came in the opposite corner and pinned in. It was gambling and a whole load of riders, and just absolutely murdered him. It was glorious.
Was this before or after the gambling banner nerf?
After.
Oh, okay. I was going to say that'd feel bad otherwise.
Yeah.
I'm
Lee,
sure anyway, but
Lee, what was your hand up for, mate?
Just go back to Daniel and his list. Something I learned at Into the West and the little event we had at Fire. As a dwarf player, if it's the mission where you have to place objectives, I always was like inclined to place them on like my side of the board, so like 50-50 mirror what they place. Don't. So if they place them at the edges like they normally do, just yeet as many as you can into the middle of the board. Which sounds weird, but you're always going to be moving up towards them anyway. And if you put them in the middle, they're going to be halfway closer to theirs, no matter where they deploy. I got that wrong so many times, so I just wanted to chuck that out there, just in case you didn't know. Put them all as many as you can in the middle.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds like a good idea, to be honest.
Yeah, I've been stuffed on heirlooms for that. That's a good point.
Yeah. Because normally, normal wisdom, you'd want them mirrored on each side of the board. But as dwarfs, you can't get to theirs that quickly and keep yours at the same time. So it's a bit of a risk, but just chuck them all as close together as you can.
I was reading a lot about the placing of objectives, and something that I came across quite a few times is people saying, make sure you put your objectives as close to board edges as possible, because it means that I can't remember the exact wording, but it forces people to split. So if you can put them on opposite board edges, like literally as close as you can get, it forces people to split. So you can tie up one half of their army at once.
If you can do that whenever you're playing me with my Goblin Scribe as well, I'd really appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, I would.
Opposite with Tom, just all in the middle and avoid edges as much as possible.
That's what I'm thinking. I think I agree with me. Yeah, I completely agree with me. Yeah,
I think if you're not dwarfs, then that's fine. But if you're dwarfs with no cav and slow movement, I would be very tempted to put them as close as humanly possible together.
I completely agree with you, and I will be employing that at the London Grand Tournament.
But if it goes wrong, it's not my fault.
If it goes wrong, it's all Lee's fault. Yeah, I like it.
I'll get a t-shirt printed saying it was Lee's idea.
So just quickly, Daniel, a couple of minutes on how you're planning, on how you're expecting the event to go for you. Who do you think is going to be your like MVP model, and how you'd like to finish the weekend?
I'm not going into it overly confident. I feel like my list is quite good, but as a player, I'm very, very casual. I prioritize having fun over winning. Whether I can get out of that mindset for this weekend, I'm not sure. I'll do my best to try hard. We'll see what happens.
You will.
Yeah, we'll try. I'll try.
To be fair, if you start to win, the more you win, the more competitive you'll get because you'll want to carry on. If you start to lose, then you'll be like, oh well, okay.
Anything less than 2 wins and you're not allowed back, just so you know.
Yeah.
You'll get carried away game one. You'll get swept up in it.
Yeah, I'm sure I will. I'm sure I will. I think my MVP, to answer that question, will just simply be the half guards. They're nothing else. I don't care about anything else. I'm not looking for heroes to gain glory. I think my MVP is going to be that big mass of burly two-handers.
To be fair, it's just sprung to mind as well. I had a brief look at the lists. Did anybody catch the list of the guy who's bringing like 4 bolt throwers?
I was talking about that with a friend today. Yeah, absolute filth.
What?
Yeah. So this guy bringing 4 bolt throwers, all with swift reload, and just
Gondor.
So that's just come to mind with dwarfs. It's like, oh yeah, I've just thought of a bolt thrower, and a guy's bringing like 4 or 5. He's literally like he brings like, I think his first warband is hero and troops and a bolt thrower, and then he's just like adding bolt throwers every point after.
What's the strength of a bolt thrower? Is it strength 6?
7.
I think it's strength 7.
Yeah.
So yeah, that might not be the friend of those half guard.
No, maybe not. Yeah.
That's 2d6. Pick the highest shots at strength 7, but they only hit on 4s. So you know.
Still potentially 24 shots at strength 7.
Yeah. That's right. I'll sit 28 inches away from him or whatever and just spawn more and more and more and more and more goblins until I've got
You can afford to lose him.
And then off we go.
He could kill 24 goblins a turn and the scribe would still be shorting you out.
Yeah. Curtis, same question, mate. How are you planning on going? And who's going to be your MVP? And how many wins would you like to finish with?
So I think I've done 3 tournaments before. But the only 2 others that were like 2-dayers, I managed 3 wins at them both. So if I could level that, I'd be really pleased to get 3 wins. But 2 wins would be fine. I'm not expecting to do that well at 400 points. I know hopefully Kamal can be the monster, but everyone's telling me he's so hard to pilot, and I'm not the greatest player either. So So fingers crossed. But then I think from 600 points to 800 points, I think my MVP is going to be my second ring wraith. I feel like that second ring wraith can just be that annoyance in my opponent, having potentially two spellcasters to try and either drain their will early game with some cheap spells, to transfix opponents to save the will from Kamul, and just to sort of sit behind the lines, causing Harbinger where Kamul isn't. And you got 2 points of might on him as well, so he can call those clutch heroic moves when I need them. So I'm hoping at the higher points I'll do better. 800 as well, get the troll involved. So they definitely have some killing power there. But yeah, fingers crossed.
Nice. And then for me, I'm hoping to do all right. Again, like we always, anything above 3 wins is always a nice bonus. I'd like to push it a little bit further if I can, but we'll see what happens. Because going to these things and getting evens is like always my aim. I dropped below it at Into the West, and I wasn't very happy about it. I was a bit annoyed at myself because I took a stupid army and got in my own head a bit towards the end. Hopefully I'll do all right. And it's just a Spider Queen, isn't it? Let's be honest. The Spider Queen is insanely good. She should be like hero of Fortitude, but roll it into the army bonus, which gets up to Valor if you green allies or something. Because being able to just drop her in with a bat and with bats and stuff into pretty much any army you want is stupid.
I think people will underestimate how much might you've got as well, because you've got 3 might on your 3 named heroes plus captains everywhere because of the numbers. It's
like 16, 17 might or something.
It's mental that.
800. Yeah, it's
I've got 8 at 800. How much have you got, Daniel?
I think I've got 8 as well.
Yeah.
I got 3 from the King, 1 from Gollum, so that's 4. Another 3 from Grinner, 2 from another captain, then 2 from a second captain, 3 from the Spider Queen, and 2 from the mercenary captain. So 17.
17, yeah.
17 might.
It just means those expendable captains can just be calling moves every time you don't get.
Yeah, I love it. Like if you call a heroic move against me, I'm going to call one back just because I can. Like,
yeah, you've got the spare might to just respond every time.
Yeah, and I will happily throw might on those dice with the captains just to get a wound here and there.
Yeah,
because every kill matters for me.
And you're probably not going to be calling combats, are you? Unless you've got like nasties in there with them.
No, I'll do a couple normally because I'll like tag them up with bat and then just call a combat. And
fair.
Even if I don't plan on putting the bat in anywhere, if you put a captain in a bat against one dude, call a heroic combat, everyone within 12 inches is scared.
Yeah.
So
it's just fly over everyone anyway. Yeah.
It's really fun to just go, I'm doing a combat. Where's that bat going to go? Like, and watch your opponent just kind of go.
Strike with every hero I've got.
Yeah, it's just a really fun little I can chuck him wherever I want. You work it out, and then if you miss one somewhere, I'm putting it somewhere. Otherwise, I'm just going to go kill some more guys. The only problem is that those heroes are all like fight free, so they need like the bat or someone in there. But yeah, Lee, put your hand up again.
Yeah, I've given Daniel some advice.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say one thing to Curtis and one thing to you, Tom.
Yeah.
Be really quick. Tom,
yeah.
Do not tilt. If it's going not your way, do not tilt. You're a really good player, but you have a really bad habit of tilting. So don't tilt.
What's
Can
tilting?
you define for everyone what tilting is?
So tilting is when you start to lose or when something goes against you, you come out of the game and you spiral downwards. So then you tilt your whole game. But then it's not just that game. So if you lose that game, then the next game, you're quite defeated. And you're like, oh, I've lost now, blah, blah, blah. And then you just get worse and worse and worse and worse.
I've seen Tom do that, yeah.
Yeah, so stop the tilt.
Yeah.
I mean,
what's fun is I also do the opposite. If I win one game, I'm like, right, that's it. I've won
yeah,
a tournament. Let's go.
You do. You're very swingy. You're very swingy. And then Curtis, just be friendly and love people to death, and then they'll let you win.
Don't get
just
upset when
you.
people call you Rob Beckett either. 'Cause
Yeah.
I get that. I do get that a lot. It's the teeth.
Yeah, you do actually remind me of Rob Beckett now. Now you said it. Yeah. Just do that.
When you said about tilting, Lee, I genuinely thought you meant to tell Tom not to flip the table when he loses.
Oh,
Yeah.
genuinely,
You're
I
going
think was it into the West or was it Lair? I can't remember. Where I was
Into the West.
genuinely like, if you didn't win that last game, I thought you were going to kill someone.
into the
Like,
West, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
69 goblins go flying across the room.
You just see Goblin King just flying in. What?
Well, but to be fair, like Lair was also quite frustrating, but it was also
Oh,
kind
yeah,
of funny because it was like, so I was using the Pass of the Druidan legendary, so they got a free up heroic move, and I over the weekend I called, what did I tell you? It was like 12, 13 heroic moves.
Yeah.
Didn't win a single one of them. I was like, it
Oh,
was on a
that's
free
so
up. I was just, it was infuriating.
Yeah. This is what I mean. So yeah.
But you know, so yeah, anyway, that should probably just about kind of wrap us up a little bit. These are obviously something different that we've started doing recently, these little like sitting on Zoom chats. If you do like them, let us know. Otherwise we'll just bid them off. I like doing them. And
I like doing them. Yeah, this is fun.
We don't have
we
to
do
do
have to rope in a little tech guy in the
No.
corner, so we'll see.
We could talk about other things other than tournaments if people wanted to.
Are there other things other than tournaments? Yeah, well, I think I'd quite like to do like a weekly, bi-weekly, monthly, whatever it is. Just chat and catch up and chat about what we're doing. Talk about why there's no models on these shelves.
I packed them all away. This is my game room that I've lost because they've got a new child on the way.
Or I've got like an entire bookshelf here full of grey models. Or you know, we can talk about all of these things at some point. I think it'd be quite fun. But also, just in general, drop a little cheeky like and a subscribe. And if you're really feeling fancy, head on over to the Atomic Cards website, buy your models from us instead of buying them from Games Workshop, because Games Workshop don't give you anything, but we give you lovely, juicy content. So it's all right. And yeah, come see us on Facebook and Instagram at Atomic Cards as well. I don't know if there's anything else we need to talk about. Just other than if you go into London, we'll see you there.
Parting
Come
words
say hi.
from me. Thanks for having me, guys. It's been a pleasure. Big fan of the channel. Watched all the content, and a big shout out to the LWG MESBG community, because I think there's going to be a big showing at the LGT this weekend. So, but yeah, thanks for having me, guys.
Be a shame if someone's came down to beat them, wouldn't it?
Curtis,
I like the guys in London.
Nice. You're too nice for us, Curtis. You're too nice.
Yeah.
We don't deserve you.
Yeah, thanks
All
for letting
three
us
nice,
stay
I
with you
guess.
as well. Appreciate that. That's yeah.
Yeah, here at Atomic Cards, we're the dark side of MESBG.
We're nice people.
Sometimes.
Sometimes.
When we're winning.
Yeah. Yeah, you should everyone should let me win at events, because otherwise I will sulk, and that's no fun for anyone. Like, just let me win. It's fine. Tech man, Mr. Recording Man. Are you still there? There we go.